assassin. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this edition of Hey Rob and this edition of Fan Mail Monday, where I basically answer whatever questions you might have. It can be related to Escape the Fate. It could be related to how stupid I am for hating on TV shows that the whole world loves, or maybe you agree with me. I don't know. So without any further ado, we already got some people up here in the live chat. Very nice to see you guys. So here we go. Let's get right into it. I have a couple questions. Cody agrees with you. Yeah, in case you guys don't know, I don't like Game of Thrones. But anyways, let's get right into it. Last week, I didn't get a chance to get to these, but this is one of my favorite guys on Patreon. It comes from Mike Nicholas. And if you're not a Patreon member, link is at the bottom, patreon.com/heyrob. And in just a few moments, I'll go to one of our usuals, and that is Cody. And he'll be on, and he could ask me whatever questions he has. Now, he always gets stumped because he asks me so much stuff, and I teach him so much about Escape the Fate, the industry, being a drummer, everything. So I'll bring him on in a few minutes. But if you want to be a Skype caller, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/heyrob. Or maybe you can't be a Skype caller and you want to follow back on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and you can DM me and we could text. I could send you messages whenever the show's going live, and you could just ask me. And of course, there's drumsticks and stuff. So I encourage you, become a Patreon. Patreon.com/heyrob. Immediately after we do this live stream here, I'm going to go over to the Patreon only portion, so only people will be able to do it on that site, and we'll talk back and forth and ask questions. And sometimes we get really cool and in-depth stuff and learn about the industry or the intricacies of being in the band and what it's like to, hang out with Craig on the road, or what it's like when we fight, or what it's like to have families and deal with that and have life on the road and all that stuff. So we could do some of that here, but we always do that on the Patreon, and it's really fun. And sometimes it's stupid, and we just talk sports, or we just talk, and there was a big fight this weekend. We might talk about that. Who knows? Anything goes on the Patreon. So without any further ado, let's get over to Mike Nicholas, and he asks, why do bands not like to change up the set list too much? Is it because of production issues? I went to AFI earlier this year, and they switched up their set every night. Well, I can tell you from experience, I'm not the type of guy who likes to keep the set the same every night. I don't. I know that, you kind of want to do the same songs here and there, and you want to maybe you start the same way every night, you end it the same way every night. And the reason for that is because you just rehearse it, and it gets better, and it's stronger, and you're tight, and you flow between songs, and you build up this whole thing. You tell this whole story from beginning to end. So you're not just up there playing, some of your songs. You're actually up there creating an entire show. And that takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of practice. And as you go through the tour, you find which songs are working with the audience. You find which songs are not working. You could find that sometimes a song you love, and maybe you haven't played it in a long time, you're like, yeah, this is the fucking heavy song, everyone's gonna love it, and it's not doing so well. So then you end up switching that out for another song, and it does do well. And then you figure, let's just keep the ball rolling. I know when we toured with Avenged Sevenfold, they had 4 set lists, and they would play this one night, the next night this one, the next night this one, the next night this one, and start over. And again, it just goes to having things rehearsed, but as an artist, you change it up a little bit so that you don't get bored. Personally, I like having the same batch of hits that everyone knows and everyone loves, and it just wouldn't be right if we didn't play it, because come on, But then I do like to switch it somewhere in the middle and add songs that we don't play all the time. But it's hard, man, because you don't get the type of rehearsal you want. You wish you could practice some more. You can't create, if you're bringing out bigger production and lighting, you don't get to create a great light show for it and that kind of thing. So it really comes down to wanting a perfect set that you can play over and deliver it with intensity every night. Some artists don't like that. Some artists get bored and they want to play different songs all the time. And that's cool too, man. But that's the way I could explain it, just to try to get it perfect. So next question from Mike was, I've always been curious as a drummer, is it hard to hear vocals when you're pounding and slaying the drums? Personally, for me, okay, and I don't know how this goes for anyone, I always have in-ears, which I have, you know, they're right here. Got this one, right? There's the other one. Now, most guys in professional bands, they use the molds. You know, what they do is they put in the fucking this foam thing, and it shapes to your ear, and then they make a plastic molding out of that, and it fits perfectly into your ear. And there's different levels. Some are super expensive, some are super cheap, and some of them sound great. I've always hated those, so I use these because these really suction into my ear and mute everything. So all I hear is what's coming into my mix. Now, you're thinking bands are raw and they only hear what's coming out the speakers. Sometimes that's the case, rarely though. Usually people got in-ears and they're hearing each other, and usually a click track, which is like, you know, this like a metronome to keep you on time, because most artists these days, not all of them, some of them like to keep it raw and old school. I would if I could. But most of them like to do, you know, add their production stuff, add, you know, backing tracks and synths to really fill up that sound, so that you can get, you know, the stuff that you hear on the record that you can't duplicate live with your drums or your guitars or your vocals. So you have that stuff playing in the back to fill up that whole sound, so it sounds as close to the album as possible. So for me to accomplish that, what I hear is I hear my bass drums, and I actually hear the click track and the CD, the actual audio recording. The reason I do this is because I'm really self-conscious about fucking up. And so I like to make sure I'm always like at the right spot at the right time. So I hear the album, the actual recording that you know and love. That's what I hear. I'm rare. I know like 2 guys that do this, and that's it. And I'm one of them. No one else I know really does that. Everyone else hears the raw instruments and hears a click track. So yeah, is it hard to hear vocals? It's hard to hear the live vocals. It's hard to hear Craig actually singing in front of me, but I hear him in my mix, and he sounds great every night. So to me, I sound fucking perfect. But I know it's weird, right? But it works for me. So next question from Mike was, now that you've toured for over 10 years, do you know cities so well that when you're on tour, you have to go to places in each city for sights or food? That is the case for a lot of places, actually. There are spots that you know what works and what doesn't. Now, you got to remember, as great of a job this is, and it's really cool to experience new things every day, to you know, sometimes feel like you're really like just, you're lucky, you know, you're traveling, you're a fucking tourist. Now that's it's really cool a lot of times to be able to explore new things, but it's just as cool when you're fucking missing home and you just want some kind of continuity. You want some kind of like routine to kind of feel like a human being and just organize your life for a moment. So yeah, there are some where I know when I'm here, I gotta go to this place. I know when I'm in Colorado Springs, I gotta go to the old school boxing club where, you know, my friend trains there. He's helped me. He's got some pros and stuff there, so I know that I'm gonna go work out there. And I know that, you know, when I'm in Dallas, that I'm gonna go to this one Mexican restaurant next to the House of Blues, no matter where I'm at. And I know that when I'm in Corpus Christi, I'm gonna go visit Selena. That's just how it works. Like, I just, you know, I don't know. It just is what it is. And when you're in Paris, I don't care how many times you see the Eiffel Tower. You got to go see the fucking Eiffel Tower, because it might be the last time you ever see the damn Eiffel Tower. So, yeah, there's restaurants in different places that I love. I try to keep it as fresh as possible, but when you know something works, it's hard not to go back to it. So, yeah, so that's all for Mike. So let's head over to the chat and see what's going on over here. Let's scroll back just a little bit. Okay. So Rebecca and Kira. So I'm on the chat now. So if you guys are on the live chat, you can go ahead and ask some questions here, and I will get to them. So here we go. Rebecca and Kira asks, You said anything related to ETF. So can I ask about Max? To answer that question, yes. You can ask about Max. I'm not going to necessarily answer, but we'll see. Alexi Barnes asks, when is the next single coming? Well, fuck you. I don't know. Hopefully soon. I'm not too sure when it'll come. I don't know. We do have some new stuff. There'll be a big announcement, but when it comes to, anything music related with this band, we always have to get it right. Because at the end of the day, no amount of planning, no tours, no fucking t-shirts, nothing works if the music doesn't. So we have to get it right. And this time we've taken our time the most we ever have. We've not been happy with how the mixes have been turning out. So now everything's getting remixed and they're starting to come out and we're starting to be like, wow, this fucking album's great. So I don't know, but we'll see. It has to be right. We might just fucking scrap it and start over. So when's the next single coming? I can't tell you. I would love to say very soon, but I can't honestly tell you. Being completely 100% honest with you, I don't know. So there you go. And Cody, I know you had some stuff to ask. So if you would like to get on the Skype and ask me, you can always just message me on the Skype and I'll get you on. He's running out of questions though. I've answered everything. Let me see. Let's come back down here. Let me see. Jackie Crespo. So do you know if Vegas show is sold out? I would figure you say sold out VIP because a friend of mine is trying to buy 2 for my early 22nd birthday. It's first concert. I think I know who you are too. You've tweeted at me and stuff. I think I know who you are for your 22nd birthday. Well, I live in Las Vegas. I don't think that one's actually the VIP is sold out on that one, but I don't know. So you'll just have to get on there and find out. And the site for that is etf.soundrink. That's sound RINK.com. etf.soundrink.com. You can go on there. If it's not sold out, go there now because they're very limited and we're starting to sell out on a bunch of them. And if we haven't, we're pretty close. Vegas usually is family, so all the meet and greets usually are going to get in free anyway. So you got a good shot at getting some there. All right, so I'm going to go to Jesse in just a moment, but I'll take one more on the chat. Vanessa, how do you say that? Vanessa Medrano? I don't know. What is it like touring with each member of the band? Who would you say is the funniest, weirdest, loudest, etc.? I've said this a couple times on each of these episodes and stuff like that. Each member is very unique. Everyone has their own thing that makes them tick and their own thing that makes them happy. And when you're together with someone for so long, you go through a roller coaster ride together. You share good times and bad times. So I can't say anyone's necessarily the funniest. I would lean towards TJ. Usually, he can cheer me up and say something funny and we'll laugh together and stuff. He's also the weirdest. He's also the loudest. So yeah, although Craig would also, he probably would be the weirdest overall. He's great heart. Craig has an amazing heart. He's super fucking loyal. I fight with him more than anyone. It's so weird. We're like twins but pointed in the opposite direction. It's so crazy, man, because he's like, I just fight him all the time. Like today, we're thinking of merch designs and stuff, and right out the gate, it's like, this is going to be bad. We're just going to fight, dude. We're so opposites on what we like. But we actually end up coming together because we know that we have a common goal and that we just want what's best for each other. Because if I win, he wins, and if he wins, I win. So we actually really have a lot of love for each other, but he's fucking weird. He's a singer. Singers are fucking weird. So guys in the chat, I'm going to try to get to as many of these as possible. And remember, soon as I'm done here, so in case I don't get to all of them, I will be going to Patreon, and I assure you I'll get to any question that's asked on Patreon. I always get to. So Jesse, who hasn't been on for a while, we're going to go ahead and get him on right now. And if you guys don't follow him on YouTube, and if you guys are gamers, you can follow him. He's got his YouTube channel. Hey, what's up, Jesse?
Yo, how's it going?
Let me go ahead and bring you on right here. Boom. There he is, Jesse. Pan your camera just to your left, just a smidge.
To my left.
Yeah, your left, where your headphone side.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Wait, it's probably backwards. I don't fucking know. So anyways, guys, Jesse is actually, he's pretty big on YouTube himself. He loves fucking Zelda, and he loves all kinds of games and stuff. What's your YouTube channel called? So you give
yeah, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/GameOverJesse. Twitter, Facebook, literally everything /GameOverJesse. I got pretty lucky with having the same URL for everything. So
it pissed me off because I wanted the same URL for everything, and they're fucking taken. So some Robert Ortiz fan out there is ruining it for me.
Yeah, but at least you know you got a big fan out there
somewhere, right?
Or maybe a few big fans.
Hopefully, that'd be cool. But anyways, let's get right to it, man. We haven't seen you in a while. Ask away. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I don't mean to take time away from the other people. There's a bunch of people asking questions in the chat, but I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
One is, we know there's the upcoming tour for Escape the Fate, and some of the other people are off with Dead Rabbits right now, so I'm not sure if they have time to work on new stuff while they're on the road, since they're focused on the Dead Rabbits. But has any thought, which I'm sure has, but are there like demos for songs that you guys have been working for an upcoming album? Is there an idea that you all have on what you're going to do, and how can we expect the new album to sound, or when can we expect actual information about it?
So to put it all together, there's a little concern as far as, delegating time between projects, and Craig has said as much many times over, and he works hard on Dead Rabbits. It's something that he's passionate about, and as an artist, I can't take that from him, because I know what it's like when you have all these ideas and dreams and stuff, and bring it to the guys and they go, it's all right. And it's like, what? Especially for him with Dead Rabbits, which tends to be a lot heavier music, and Escape the Fate, while we do have heavy songs, we also do stuff that's a little more poppy and stuff like that, whereas Dead Rabbits tends to be just almost completely just straight heavy. So that's a release for him, and I'm not going to take that from him, but at the same time, he knows that he gets a lot out of Escape the Fate, and he knows that's his bread and butter. He knows that his fans are there. He knows that we're family and that we need each other, and that we've provided a life for one another through this band. And he also knows that he gets an artistic achievement out of being in the band itself as well. So it doesn't take away. He knows when it is, and he asks months and months ahead of time, hey guys, if we don't have anything planned for this stretch, I want to do a tour here, or I want to do an album release thing here, or whatever, or I'm going to go in the studio for this. And so he's always mindful that Escape the Fate is going to come first, and that, Dead Rabbits won't get in the way of that. It's frustrated me at times here and there, where I wish that maybe I could just have them on call a little more, because being in a band isn't, that, all right, here's your time frame and let's go, because everyone's so erratic and has so many small details of what happens in their life, and kids, and different projects, and family time, and travel, and then you have to go to fucking LA to do this shit, and you want to be home, and there's all these little nuances that go on to get 4 people in the same room at the same time. It's very difficult, right? Especially if someone's not saying, be on stage for 1 hour and we're going to give you money. Oh, I'm there. That's easy, But with an album's a little different. You don't know when it starts and when it ends. So sometimes, I do wish him and TJ would be a little bit more on call and allow that kind of, flexibility to say, hey, can you come back in right now and re-record this? Or we got this new idea. Can we lay this out right now? But it happens, and that's how it is, dude. And it's been like that since day one, you know, especially with Craig because he has a daughter, and he's had it since he joined the band. So with that said, most of the shit was already done, and he'll fly in and whatever we need to work on. So it's for the most part done. It hasn't gone in the way, and you know, he fills his free time with Dead Rabbits essentially.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Are these Escape the Fate songs that you're working on now? Are they all new songs that you're coming up with since the last album came out, or are some of them maybe ideas that you all had for songs 2, 3, 4 years ago that are you now have the time to put them in because maybe you thought it was a good song, but it didn't really mesh with the songs that was on the albums that you had before. So
Well, you know
I
what?
guess
That's actually an excellent question because sometimes that does happen. Sometimes we have stuff that just doesn't fit, and I know that this record right now, in the future, next album, there's gonna be songs that didn't mesh with the rest that are gonna be up for grabs for the next one. But usually you get excited for whatever the newest thing is that you worked on. I think that's just, you know, the temperament of any artist that you get excited for what you just finished. It's the best thing ever. Then 2 weeks later, you got something new and you go, man, that fucking song sucked. This one's the best song ever. So you get excited, and it's hard to go back and pick up, you know, demos that you had before. But I think there's bits and pieces that have worked, especially on Hate Me. We went on Thrasher's computer and just listening to shit, and there's a couple songs, especially Live for Today. Live for Today, he's had for like 8 years or like 5 or something like that. He's had for years, and he sang it. So he was kind of embarrassed to show it because he's not really a great singer. You know, he can hold a tune and he does backup vocals. Like, he can sing well, but he's not a singer. So he was kind of embarrassed to show anyone, and when he showed us, we're kind of like, that's pretty cool. When we showed Howard Benson, the producer, he goes, that song's fucking great, man. Let's use that one. We're like, I don't know. Trust me. And then once Craig sang it, we're like, wow, this song's amazing. I personally had an acoustic song that I was hoping to use on Hate Me, but I had the same thing happen. I was too embarrassed to show because I can't sing, so I can't really play it for anyone. And I don't know how to present it properly, so I just kind of kept it tucked away to myself until one day I was in bed and with my wife, and it was just a quiet evening, and I said, you know, I wrote this song for my grandfather, who had passed away right before Hate Me, or a year before, and I said, I wrote this song, can I play it for you? I haven't showed anyone. She said, yeah. And I just kind of talked the words out, not so much melody, and I looked over when I finished, and she was completely in tears. She's like, I didn't know you felt that way. I was like,
was this Let Me Be?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because
No.
I seen an interview when the Hate Me album was first coming out with all of the guys in Escape the Fate, and you had mentioned in it that there was an acoustic song that you had written that you showed the band, and I guess everyone liked it, or what. It's been a year, however long, since I've listened to that interview. So I just assumed that was the song.
I was talking about this song that I'm talking about now. It didn't get used on Hate Me because I didn't show the guys. I was too embarrassed, but I was excited when I did write it. And then so like when I showed my wife recently and she loved it, I was like, okay, well, she's fucking crying. So obviously I'm on to fucking something here. I got to share that because, you know, I don't know how many people have dealt with what I dealt with that inspired that song. So, you know, you can't keep those types of things to yourself. And I showed the guys. They didn't quite get it because, you know, they were thinking, well, it's an acoustic song. I don't know. We already had acoustic songs. They don't always work. I'm like, no, you don't get this one. This is different, dude. And Howard Benson fucking loved it. And now we've played it and the other guys love it. And it's very strong and it's super emotional. So hopefully you'll hear it soon if we fucking get this album done.
All right.
For sure.
And if you let me, before I go, I have a final question.
Sure.
All right. Throughout the decade or longer, I think it's been like 12, 13 years of Escape the Fate. I'm not really sure.
Escape the Fate started in 2004 officially.
All right. So in the 13
13,
years
almost
of
13, yeah.
yeah, so in the almost 13 years of Escape the Fate, there's been a lot of members come and go. You're
Yeah.
basically the only original member left. Part of the question is, how does that feel? And the other part is, I believe, going by Wikipedia, which sometimes can be not completely true. But going by Wikipedia, there was the rhythm guitarist, or the original rhythm guitarist in Dying Is Your Latest Fashion, that left the band. And then
Yeah.
Ronnie left the band, Max, and then eventually both of the Money Brothers came and went, and a lot of other members has came in. So how do you feel about the other bands or projects that the members have? Is there any uh, in lack of a better words, beef between everybody? Because I know there was a lot of hate going back and forth, or unintentional hate between some of the bands. But then you just recently posted the video with you and Ronnie hiking in the
Hmm.
desert, which 5 years ago, probably no Escape the Fate fan would have ever imagined seeing that.
Yeah.
So, what
I mean,
basically what's it been like seeing everyone come and go with new members coming in, original members leaving, and your relationship changing from maybe hating them at first to being friends with them again, and all of that?
yes, yeah, and I like your detailed questions because you hit on a lot of points and you make sure that I understand exactly what it is you're getting at. And
Yeah, as long as I'm not going on too long.
no, 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 no. It's fine. I like the explanation. It's not just a quick thing. So like for me to be standing alone with the whole thing, it's like I said earlier, as an artist, you're excited about now, and you look back and it's cool. But when I'm creating a new album and thinking about putting on a show, I gotta work with what's in front of me, and it's been a weird ride through it all, and I'm thankful to have experienced so many moments with so many different people. Some were bad, some were good, some we can laugh at now, some still hurt a little bit, and there's things like that. As far as the personal animosity towards anyone that was ever in the band, I have none. I wish everyone that's been a part of it the best of luck in whatever they're doing in their life right now. I don't hold grudges. I'm not that guy. There are ways, like I think as a person, and it goes for any relationship, not just musical, is that when you harbor feelings, it's bad. But at the same time, you have to know that what's best for you is sometimes to be separated. Now, even as a child, you eventually leave your parents, the people who love you more than anyone in this world. I mean, relatively speaking, of course, there's instances where that's not the case, but for the most part, your parents will love you more than anyone. Your wife or your husband or whoever, your best friend loves you so much, but you need time away. So even in those situations, it's good to be away from each other. So even though, my point being that even though I love these guys, it's probably not best for us to all hang out all the time, because we still sometimes look back and think of what might have been or what could have been or whose fault it was and things like that. It's best to everyone just kind of do their own thing. We tried it. It didn't work. We tried to keep this group together. It didn't work. This group together, it didn't work. This group, it didn't work. This group, it didn't work. This one right now, this is working. So cool. What Ronnie's doing, clearly it's working. Now he's gotten member changes within his own unit. He's clearly the boss in his unit, but he's got member changes there. He goes with what's working at the moment. The other guys, I'm not too sure what they're doing, but whatever works for them is going to work for them, and that's what they're going to roll with. So it's, it comes and goes, dude, and you just kind of roll with the punches. And for me, again, no grudges. None whatsoever. Ronnie is the toughest one because he is a character and he shoots it to you straight. But I spent a lot of time with him last week, and truthfully, we bonded more than we have probably ever, to be honest, because we're both men and we look back in what we've done, and we're just kind of like, wow, I can't believe we've made it through all this shit, and we've done and seen things, and now we're in the middle of the desert. And symbolically, we if you haven't seen actually, I'm gonna post a new one of essentially the same thing, but we actually we went to the desert where he was locked up, and the prison where he was locked up in the desert. Fuck, it's hard to. The prison is called High Desert. It's in the middle of the desert, and we fucking rode bikes from there, 52 miles to his house. He's got a beautiful house, and that was so symbolic to say, like, wow, I can't believe, you know, you were here, and now you're making that choice, and it's awesome to just ride home. Make it through those fucking uphill climbs in the heat, and you're fucking dying almost literally. I mean, my fucking back is burnt, dude. Hopefully, my dogs are freaking out because my wife just left. Sorry, guys. But, you know, it was a symbolic gesture. And we're sitting there and we're talking about life. We're talking about God and Jesus and, you know, like everything, the band, the history, all of that. Everything. We've talked about it, and as homies, and he holds no grudges, I hold no grudges, and you know, we're honest with each other about our music, and he wishes me, you know, the best in the band. You know, he wants us to do well. We're friends. He's friends with Craig. We're all friends together, because we look back and we go, man, it is what it is. Like, you know, we did it, and here we are. We're mature now, so fuck it. Let bygones be bygones, and hope the best for each other, and understand that we're in different relationships now. So it's cool. I understand this will probably be the most frequently asked question. You know, that's obviously because it is such a big part of the legacy. Now,
Yeah.
as it pertains to my respect towards that, I do my best, and it changes day to day. Sometimes, you know, what's best for the legacy is to not touch that, you know, formation of the band. That it's best to leave that in the past. Sometimes the best is to actually cherish it and celebrate it. You know, it changes, and I don't know how to feel all the time about it. You know what I mean? So it's touch and go, but for now everyone's doing their own thing, and I wish nothing but the best to anyone who's ever helped out the band, been in the band, or done anything, you know, with the band. Even people that have fucked the band over, I wish the best for everybody, man, because we're all just trying to do what we feel is right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for having me on once again. Hope everyone else enjoyed the questions I had to ask. And if you're still up for the interviews, I would love to schedule them sometime.
Let's do them tomorrow, man. Let's do them tomorrow. So, guys, follow him, Game Over Jesse. If you're a game over nerd, or sorry, a game nerd, you'll fucking love it and stuff. So, check it out. Thanks again, Jesse. Appreciate it, man.
All right. See ya.
See ya. Whoa. Let's go back to this. Peace, homie. So, yeah. So, let's get back to a couple of here in the chat before we switch over to the Patreon only. And we'll get to, Cody, I'm going to get to you on the Patreon. So, Cody's waiting on Skype. But I really want to get to some of these guys in the chat. So, yeah, here we go. Let me see. Eric Cruz, my opponent in fucking January. I'm going to fight him. Nice guy, real nice guy. He's a Christian, and he's super nice guy. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to have to beat his ass. But who's the hipster? That was Game Over Jesse. Rad guy. Let me see. Where were we at? Kayla, wear my Dead Rabbits shirt right now. There you go. Sebastian, I'm sorry, your last name, I can't say it. Chularov, I'm sorry, I tried. I live in Graz, Austria, near Vienna. And my question is, will there be VIP for Graz? Yes, there will be. We will announce it soon as we get everything available. But anytime we do a tour, there will be VIP, because we want to give people a chance to know that they for sure can meet the band. So there will be VIP for that. Just keep looking, keep going back to all the Escape the Fate pages, and we'll let you know when it's available. But that tour will be in February and parts of January as well. Let me see. So Takuto's girl 14, sorry if I can't pronounce it right, asks, is that a A7X sounding the 7th trumpet on the wall? That's awesome. Now she's referring to that poster over there. Yes, it is, and it is signed by all the band members, including the Rev. Actually, that one isn't signed. No, that one's not signed. I got another one from that same era. I got Awaken the Fallen poster over there, signed on that wall over there. I had another one here somewhere. Where did it go? Yeah, this one right here, Awaken the Fallen one behind me. If you could see that, I got that one signed right there by all the original members, including the Rev. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've been following them since way back. So there you go. Yoeli asks, this is the last question, just so you guys know, and then we're gonna switch over to the Patreon only. What did you think of the fight? Wow. I actually I had a discussion with my friends over on the Boxing Voice. We talked about it for a while because it's weird. I sounded super negative, but I realized that actually I enjoyed it. I was thoroughly entertained. Conor McGregor, the problem I have with the fight is that people were giving Conor McGregor a lot of props. They were saying, wow, he did better than expected. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best fighters of all time. So the fact that you saw him lose at least 3 rounds in the beginning, you would think, wow, Conor did really good. No, read my fucking prediction. I told you that was going to happen. And the reason why that was going to happen is because you got to realize Conor McGregor he's a fucking fighter. He's a professional. You can't tell me he's never boxed. Okay, he's never boxed professionally, but he does know how to fucking fight, and he's so much bigger than Floyd Mayweather. Floyd looked like he was fighting a giant. I've never seen him fight anyone that big. And so you got to realize Conor McGregor, for all we knew, we thought he had power. But at the end of it, what I realized is Floyd was going to take some time to adjust. And he's such a defensive guy, and you saw him stalk the other bigger guy who supposedly hits harder, and without fear just moving in, taking all those shots and saying, you can't hit me. He had no respect for Conor McGregor. And I thought that he would be able to make it to the 12th round and go to a decision, because I didn't think Floyd had that type of power to knock out a guy who's fought bigger guys with smaller gloves and taken knees and kicks. You telling me Floyd Mayweather with brittle hands, who hasn't knocked out a guy in fucking 9 years, is gonna stop a guy who's taken kicks and elbows and small glove fist against bigger guys? That I would have not really thought that was probable. But I did think it was possible. I said it could happen in the 10th round, and it did. So I've never seen anyone get that tired. So to me, what I saw was a fight where you had a guy who just fucking quit, basically. Conor McGregor, to me, quit. He stopped punching. He ran away. I've never seen anyone get that tired. So I was kind of disappointed, because I thought at the end of the day that Conor McGregor, he's not a boxer, but he's still a fighter. And that fighter in him would get him through the end. And he could maybe actually hurt Floyd. He never hurt Floyd at all. And I thought he would just make a fucking war out of it if he needed to. And he didn't. He just cowered and ran away and stopped punching. What was the ref supposed to do? And what was those fucking hammer fists? So while I enjoyed it, because in the beginning, as Conor was winning those rounds early, we thought, oh my God, Floyd is old and Conor's huge. Wow, this might actually happen. No, it was never going to happen. It went almost exactly how I thought it would. Just a little more offense from Floyd, and he took care of that job. Overall, I was thoroughly entertained, and boxing won. Boxing fans are like, yeah, we did it. We're better. And now remember this, though. Boxing's 2-0 right now, okay? Because not only did he beat the biggest star of the UFC, Holly Holm is a multiple division champion of boxing. She's fucking won like 8 titles or something crazy like that. Has an amazing record in boxing for years and years and years. She goes into the MMA and knocks out the UFC's biggest star, Ronda Rousey. Boxing went to MMA and beat it. MMA went to boxing, and boxing beat it. Remember that. With that said, guys, I'm out. Let's head over to Patreon. Yoeli will get you on the Skype if you want. We'll bring you over there. Cody will bring you on the Skype. So, Denise, I'm sorry I couldn't get to your question. Head over to Patreon if you're not already signed up, and we'll get you going over there, and we'll answer your guys' questions. See you in a few minutes, guys. Let me get this thing reset up, and it'll be awesome. But this was a really good round. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. With that said, we're heading over to Patreon only. Let's do this.